SpongeGex here with another anime review. For the longest time, I was not a big fan of anime. The only ones I really liked to watch were the ones by Studio Ghibli. Those were the only ones that actually appealed to me. I mean, I've tried watching so many popular anime shows back then, like Dragon Ball, and I just never got into it. So, 2025 was a big turning point for I finally decided to give other anime films a chance. I was mostly watching ones that were highly recommended. Ones that say like, oh, if you like Studio Ghibli, you'll like these. And man, a lot of these were great. They were surprising and very emotional films. It makes me feel bad that I went so many years not watching any of these. And there was one that stood out the most, and that was the 2012 anime film Wolf Children. I've wanted to see this movie for years, but they weren't making any new copies of this movie. It was like under really ridiculous scalper prices. It wasn't available for streaming, it wasn't available for digital purchase, but luckily the movie finally got a 4K theatrical re-release on Mother's Day 2025, and then the following September it got a Blu-ray re-release along with its first ever 4K Blu-ray release. So this movie was made by the director Mamoru Hosoda and Studio Chizu. So they've made other great films. Not too long ago, I made a video about one of their previous movies, Belle, and that is also a movie that's worth checking out. So, I'm already looking forward to the studio's next movie, Scarlet. They showed a trailer for it right before Chainsaw Man, and that looked epic. And so, I heard it did really well. It recently premiered at a film festival, and so I'm really glad to hear that. And so it's coming out this December, and I really hope my theater ends up getting that, because I really want to see that. So, for years, I've heard other reviewers praise Wolf Children and call it Hosoda and Chizu's best film, so I was able to see it in theaters during its Mother's Day re-release, but I had to ride 2 hours out of town just to see it, because no theater around here would bother playing it. I mean, it made me shocked that they actually showed the Chainsaw Man movie in a theater that was only 30 minutes away. I mean, I still had to drive to get there, but I was shocked that I didn't have to drive over an hour away to see a movie for once. So, was Wolf Children worth seeing after hearing so many years of praise and having to ride 2 hours out of town and back just to see it? The answer is yes. This is honestly one of the best movies I've ever seen. Not just in anime standards, just movie standards. No movie has teared me up more than this film. It is such a beautiful movie. It's the best story of motherhood I've ever seen. I just love this movie so much that I made sure to pre-order the Blu-ray re-release back before it came out in September. So today I'll be reviewing the English dub, since that's the version I saw. There aren't really any big name voice actors in the English dub, but they all do a pretty decent job. There was one voice that really stood out, and that was the voice by Colleen Clinkenbeard. She voices the main character Hana. So Colleen has voiced for a number of popular animes. She's the voice of Ezra Scarlet from Fairy Tail, and Lieutenant Riza Hawkeye from Full Metal Alchemist. God, I just saw both Full Metal Alchemist shows for the first time, and yeah, they were pretty good. I will admit that I feel like sometimes the story got a little ridiculous, but overall I really did enjoy the shows. So, anyways, the movie Wolf Children is about a city college student named Hana. She ends up falling in love with a poor, lonely man who visits her school, despite how he's not able to afford the lessons there. So after many days of getting to know each other, the man gets close enough to Hana that he decides to finally tell her his deepest, darkest secret. He fears that once she'll hear it, she'll never want to be with him again, so he reveals that he is a werewolf. He tells her how all the stuff in movies and stories about werewolves are wrong. Werewolves don't transform under the light of a full moon. They are able to transform as they please, and they're still under control of their actions when they transform. So, despite this shocking reveal, Hana still loves the Wolfman. She's able to see his true self underneath that wolf form, and the two end up moving in with each other. They never made it clear if they ended up marrying or not, but either way, they're together, and that's all that matters. So, the movie cuts to a beautiful montage, and it really rivals the opening to the montage in Pixar's Up. I mean, it's worth mentioning that this movie has a beautiful soundtrack, and the whole montage of Hana and the Wolfman has some of the best music in the film. So we see time passing as Hana and the Wolfman settle into their apartment, only for Hana to get sick and learn that she's pregnant. The Wolfman is happy to hear that they're going to be parents. Words just cannot describe how great the scene is. Like, it teared me up upon first watching it, and it still does. The montage ends with the birth of their first daughter, Yuki, followed by a year later where they have a son named Ame as well. I mean, this scene just goes over all the ups and downs of pregnancy, from the sickness, the cravings, to the loving support of the husband. I mean, this is just a beautiful scene. Sadly, we get the heartbreaking scene that follows. Not too long after Ame was born, the Wolfman decided to go out and get some food for his family. Hana waits all day for his return, but he never shows up. She takes her kids outside in the rain to look for him, just to be horrified to find his dead wolf body lying in a dam. Garbage men end up bagging up the corpse and they throw it into a garbage truck. As Hana tries begging them not to do it, she just drops to the ground in tears. I mean, this scene is such a gut punch, from the way the music just stops as soon as Hana sees her dead husband, to the thought of her just wanting to shout out to the garbage men that they're throwing away her husband, but she knows that she can't say anything because she swore to keep his secret, and it's just such a gut punch. So Hana is now all alone, having to raise children who can freely transform between human or wolf. She has no idea how to take care of any of that. She still vows that she'll do the best that she can to be their mother, and give them the freedom to live how they want to be, whether it's human or wolf.
Food now!
It's almost done, Yuki. Just be patient.
Food now!
Look, I'm sorry, but...
Food now!
Yuki...
There's just so much creativity with this movie. I mean, Hana easily became my favorite mom in all of fiction. I just really rooted for this character. The way that she's able to put up with so much trouble at once, and she's still able to come out with a smile on her face. There are still plenty of close calls. The whole montage of her trying to get chores done while also having to keep an eye on her kids leads into a lot of funny and very heartwarming moments.
You gotta be kidding me.
Hana's daughter Yuki gets sick after eating a silica packet, and Hana isn't sure whether to take her daughter to a hospital or a vet. She ends up calling the number on the company who supplied the packet in the first place, and so she asks them a few questions, and in the end, her daughter ends up becoming fine. She ends up recovering pretty quickly in a humorous way.
How's her appetite?
Can I have a snack?
So Yuki and Ame are pretty adorable across the film. They start off as cute little kids, and you see them growing up and going different paths. And so, whether they were human, wolf, or even an odd in-between of wolf and human, they were just fun characters throughout. So life for Hana gets much harder when her kids are howling at night, causing her landlord to think that Hana is harboring a pet despite the strict no pets policy. Hana is too afraid to take her kids to the hospital for checkups because she wants to hide their wolf identity. So Hana is bothered by government workers who demand to see her kids for an inspection. They're accusing Hana of neglect.
Can't come barging in
If you
here!
refuse to cooperate with us, we'll have no choice but to assume neglect.
Just leave us alone!
And so this causes Hana to lock them out in panic, and she fears for the safety of her kids. Hana then decides that she and her kids need to leave the city to a more isolated area, so her kids can be allowed to have the freedom to choose whether they want to be human or wolves. So they end up moving into a really beat-up old house, far out in the country. Hana works hard to touch up their new house so it's good as new.
Look what I found, Mommy! The silly bird was honking at me and I grabbed it!
Over the course of the film, Hana ends up befriending a bunch of local farmers around her new home, and she learns about the community and how to look out for others, something that she just wasn't able to do back in her city home. We get a bunch of silly shenanigans with Hana's kids as they start discovering themselves and grow separate paths. So starting off, Yuki is the loud and excited one who seems to enjoy being a wolf a lot more than Ame, who's a lot more timid. She likes hunting animals and collecting bugs and skulls. So meanwhile, Ame is very timid. He hates the idea of being a wolf because of how poorly wolves are treated in storybooks. He sees them as being portrayed as the bad guy, and he doesn't like it because it makes it feel like he's a bad guy.
But, Mommy thinks wolves are pretty nice people, even if everybody else is mean to them.
So eventually, Yuki learns about school and decides that she wants to go there.
Mommy, what's a preschool?
What?
And how come me and Mommy don't get to go to one? I want to go to preschool! I want to go to preschool, Mommy! I want to go!
You need to settle down now.
It took a while for Hana to finally trust her that she's old enough to go to school without revealing her wolf form. And so she makes up a little song for Yuki to sing whenever she feels scared.
I'm gonna be a little girl all the way home. I'm gonna be a little girl all the way home.
So Yuki likes going to school and being with other kids, but she starts feeling bad about herself when her interests of catching snakes and collecting bones scare off her fellow classmates.
Looky! So, what are you keeping in your treasure box? Ready? Ta-da!
Why do you want to act like someone you're not, honey?
Because when I act like me, they all run away screaming.
So at this point in the story, Yuki is ashamed of her wolf form, and she decides that from now on, she's going to be 100% human. Eventually, Ame starts going to school, but he feels like such an outcast there. He's constantly getting bullied, he just never had fun there. Hana ends up getting a job at a forest park where she's going to be able to learn more about both the forest and wolves. And she's also allowed to bring Ame along with her so he can learn as well.
I wanted to meet a wolf like Daddy.
Your daddy was special. He was truly one of a kind.
So back at school, Yuki meets a new student named Sohei. Yuki gets offended by Sohei because he said she smelled like a dog. So this brought up a lot of fear in Yuki. She's ashamed of her wolf half, and she does not want her wolf half to be exposed in front of everyone. So she tries avoiding Sohei to keep her mind off of it, but he keeps following her, so she keeps trying to sing the I'm Gonna Be a Little Girl All the Way Home song, but it's just not working, because he keeps following her, constantly asking her why doesn't she like him. So finally, Yuki snaps and briefly turns into a wolf as she slashes him across the face, right on the ear. So this leads to Hana being called out of work for a meeting. Sohei's mom is upset over her son being injured, as she accuses Yuki for assaulting her son and threatens to sue Hana.
My child is the one with the injury here.
A wolf.
What?
It was a wolf that did it.
Hana and Yuki are surprised that Sohei supposedly knows that Yuki is a wolf girl, yet he didn't bother exposing her. Yuki and Hana head back to the car to go home. Yuki is so ashamed of herself as she breaks into tears, apologizing to her mom.
I'm so sorry, Mom! Mom, I tried so hard.
She fears that she can never go back to school again, so she ends up spending a huge chunk of days just staying at home. But every single day, Sohei stopped by to leave homework and snacks for Yuki. So one day, Hana finally invites Sohei inside of their house for a rest and a beverage. She wants to know why Sohei keeps stopping by every day, to which he answered he just doesn't want Yuki to stop going to school. Hana questions Sohei about if he really thinks a wolf attacked him, to which Sohei says everything happened so fast, but he's positive that it was a wolf and that it was not Yuki who attacked him.
And may I ask you one more thing? Do you hate wolves now?
No, I think they're pretty cool.
I feel the same way.
So eventually, Yuki regains the courage to talk with Sohei as he offers to walk her back to school. So Ame eventually befriends an old fox who is the leader of the forest. He refers to him as Sensei. So the old fox is able to teach Ame all about animal instincts and how to live in the forest. This causes a lot of friction down the line as Ame and Yuki have very differing views. Yuki thinks Ame needs to go to school and be a boy, while Ame thinks that Yuki needs to be a wolf. And it leads to them getting into a pretty nasty fight, and poor Hana just has no idea what to do with her kids after this.
What's with you?
You're going to school tomorrow, you hear me?
No way.
You're going or else!
I said no! What's gotten into you? Stop it!
There's just so many great highlights in this film, from the beautiful scene of Hana taking her kids out on a snow day as the kids turn into their wolf forms and run freely through the snow as their mom is happily chasing after them with a big smile on her face. Man, I wish I could share clips of this, show you how it sounds, but dang copyright ruins everything. Then there's the whole part where Ame finds out that Sensei is dying and he feels like he should fully dedicate his life to becoming a wolf so he can be the new leader of the forest, only for Hana to be against it out of fear of his safety.
No way. I don't want you going up there. I mean it. You're not a...
She nearly shouts out to him that he's not a wolf, only to stop herself as she realizes that that goes against what she told him, how he has the freedom to be whatever he wants to be, human or wolf. Two scenes that really tear me up are ones that happen back to back. So the first is where during a storm, Yuki and her new friend Sohei end up being stuck alone at the school during a storm, none of their parents were able to show up and pick them up. So during this moment, we get a beautiful scene where Yuki admires Sohei for trusting her enough to be honest about how upset he is over his mother remarrying and how he just wants to run away to become a boxer. Yuki is so touched by his bravery to express himself to her that she makes the tough decision to reveal to him that the wolf who attacked her the other day was in fact her. Sohei reveals that he knew it the whole time, and he promises her secret is safe with him. She just tears up over his acceptance of her, and this scene is just brilliant, from the music to the visual of Yuki opening the window as her transformation from wolf to girl happens, as the window curtain flies over her, and it's just brilliant. Brilliant visuals. Just a beautiful moment and a great way to end Yuki's side of the story. The other great scene is the bittersweet ending. So after Ame runs away during the storm, he wants to take his place as the new leader of the forest. So Hana goes out desperately searching for him, and it causes her to be late for picking up Yuki from school. So Hana ends up falling and she passes out. She has a dream where she reunites with her late husband, or boyfriend. Again, they never clarified who he was exactly, but anyways, she reunites with the Wolfman. So Hana feels like she failed Wolfman and their kids, especially with Ame running away, and Wolfman tells Hana that she's a terrific mom, and he tells her that Ame is old enough in wolf years, he knows where he wants to be in life. We cut to Hana waking up as Ame found her, and he transforms into a human form one last time so he can carry her back to safety in the forest parking lot. Hana looks at Ame and sees the splitting image of Ame's father as he turns back into a wolf and heads back to the forest. Hana calls out and asks him, "Shouldn't I have taught you something important by now? What have I taught you?" She breaks into tears as she feels like she failed him as a mom. Ame is saddened to see his mom feeling like such a disappointment. He runs towards the top of the mountain. Hana keeps begging Ame not to leave as she just keeps on crying. So Ame finally reaches the top of the mountain, something that only animals worthy of ruling the forest can accomplish. He then gives out a great big howl to his mother as the sun rises behind him. Hana smiles and shouts back at him, "You're where you belong." And Hana realizes that Ame will be alright. The movie ends revealing Hana is now living all alone, as Ame is now the ruler of the forest, and her daughter moved into a middle school dormitory to continue her education. So despite how she's now all alone, Hana feels accomplishment because her kids are happy and where they want to be. Words just cannot describe how many times this movie made me cry. It made me cry more than any movie I've ever seen, and I don't see that as a bad thing. Even the happy scenes teared me up. As one who was going through a lot of depression upon first seeing this, I can tell you I needed this movie. I needed to let those tears out. This movie is amazing. It's one of my favorite animated films of all time. It's just as good as Studio Ghibli's films, and maybe even better. I don't know. It's really hard for me to say. Before this, my favorite movie was Princess Mononoke. So both Princess Mononoke and Wolf Children, they're drastically different films. The only similarities they have is that they both feature wolves. It makes it hard for me to say which is better, but either way, I don't care. Both are great movies regardless. But yeah, I give Wolf Children a 10 out of 10. So you can either see this movie by getting it on Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray with its recent re-releases. But for those in North America, good news. HBO Max acquired an exclusive deal with GKIDS, and they announced that Wolf Children will be coming to HBO Max eventually. No official release date has been given, but it's great to hear that this amazing movie is finally coming to a streaming service real soon. Part of the deal also included getting other movies, and one of them was Your Name, which that just got added to HBO Max already, and that's another movie I plan on reviewing. I've heard for many years that Your Name is like one of the best anime films ever, and so just before HBO Max announced that they acquired the film, I actually bought the movie on Blu-ray, and I can't wait to share my thoughts on that one, because that's another interesting movie. Anyways, that's all I have to show for now. Thank you for watching, see you next time, and have a great day.